Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Mari kita mulai lagi. Hari ini yang akan presentasi tentang topik 3, yaitu Nabi Abila tentang intercultural communication competence. Silakan Abila, dimulai. Time and places is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Abila will explain to you about intercultural communication competence. The first, I will tell you about what is intercultural communication competence, and then several components of intercultural communication competence. A competent intercultural communication is one who has the ability to interact effectively and appropriately with members of another linguistic and cultural backgrounds on their terms. In other words, every intercultural situation is one in which two individuals meet the prerequisite for mastering. Such a situation is the competence to act effectively and appropriately. Jadi maksudnya intercultural communication yaitu kemampuan seseorang untuk berinteraksi dengan yang berbeda linguistik dan berbeda budayanya dengan memiliki kemampuan yang tepat dan efektif dalam berkomunikasi. And then I will tell you about components of intercultural communication. There are 5. To increasing intercultural communication, you have 5 components. The first one is motivation to communicate, and then an appropriate kind of cultural knowledge, and third, appropriate communication skills, and fourth, sensitivity, and 5, character or ethics.
Next.
Yes. Motivation, you have to be motivated to interact with people who are different than you. This means being able to let go of any misgivings or negative emotion you may have toward them. It means you possess a personal desire to improve your communication abilities. Jadi motivasi itu sama kayak komitmen. Jadi komitmen kalian terhadap komitmen kalian semangat untuk mempelajari intercultural tersebut. Jadi kalian harus memiliki motivasi biar kalau misalkan nanti menemukan kendala dengan perbedaan culture atau shock culture, kalian nggak kaget. And next is knowledge. You must have information about people, the rules for communication used within their culture, the context, and the expectations. Are self-aware and understand the rules, norms, and expectations associated with whom you are. The knowledge will give you more info about intercultural. Jadi dengan ilmu itu, kalau pengetahuannya luas, pasti bakal mempermudah kalian dalam berhubungan atau berinteraksi dengan orang yang berbeda kultur atau berbeda budaya. And next is skills. You must be able to engage in different style of communication than you are used to. This could mean saying things that you may not truly believe in and behaving in ways that may feel unnatural at first. Jadi biasanya kalian kalau misalkan bertemu dengan berinteraksi dengan yang berbeda kultur, pasti kalian kaget sama aksen atau budaya yang mereka bawa. Nah, kalau kalian punya skill ini, kalian nggak kaget lagi. Jadi skills ini termasuk input kayak listening, observe, analyze, practice, and extend. Nah, skills ini membantu kalian in regulating conversation. Jadi kalau kalian punya skill, percakapannya nggak akan mudah berakhir gitu. Karena kalian, nah skills ini berhubungan juga sama yang tadi knowledge. Jadi knowledge ngebantu kalian untuk mendapatkan skills gitu. And skills ini dibutuhin need to be adapted to the rules of interaction that are appropriate to the host culture. Nah, skills ini sangat dibutuhin buat kalian bisa bercakap-cakap atau berhubungan soal intercultural communication itu sangat penting skills. And next is sensitivity. Sensitivity, the truly sensitive communicator must move beyond merely being tolerant of other people and other cultures and develop feelings of alophilia, which is a liking for others and the behavior that liking inspires. By Pitsky, Rosenthal, and Montoya. Ini saya ngutip dari PDF itu. Nah, jadi sensitif ini termasuk include feelings, terus empathy, gitu-gitu. Jadi feelings refer to the emotional affective state that you experience when communicating with someone from different cultures. Jadi dengan kesensitifan kalian bisa ngerasain emosi yang dari lawan kalian bicara. Jadi kalian bisa ngerasain kalau oh ternyata dia nggak kurang nyaman atau dia oh ternyata ini ngerasa kurang enak atau bagaimana. Soalnya kan intercultural kan itu ngomongin perbedaan ya. Jadi pasti bakal ngerasa kayak kaget atau awkward gitu. Jadi kalian harus punya sensitivity itu. And the next is the last but not least, it's about character. Character or ethics kita is known as attitudes. The idea behind including character is simple. If you are not perceived by your communication partners as person of good character, your chance for success will be diminished. Jadi kalau misalkan kalian nggak bisa atau tidak punya karakter yang baik, jadi kalau misalkan tiba-tiba ngerasa tersinggung atau gimana pun pas intercultural kan kaget tuh, pasti ngerasa kaget kalau misalkan kalian tidak mempunyai karakter yang baik, itu tidak akan berjalan dengan baik intercultural communication-nya. Terus termasuk karakter ethics, masuknya juga interaction posture, kayak kalian berinteraksi, respon kalian terhadap lawan bicara kalian itu termasuk dari attitudes. Show respect and positive regard for another person, itu juga masuknya ke attitudes. And then the understanding of intercultural competence, only one way of viewing things. Theories of intercultural communication are as complex as the intercultural situation themselves. Jadi mempelajari intercultural communication itu sama susahnya, sama kayak dalam kegiatan sehari-hari intercultural situation tersebut. Yeah, that's all for me. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, screenshot dulu. 1, 2, 3. Oke, sebentar. Stop share. Thank you, Abila. Sayang presentasinya bagus, tapi cepat selesai. Saya masih semangat ngedengerin. Nanti ya, saya tambahin ya.
Ya, baik.
Bentar, saya save dulu tadi. Chapter 3. So we are going to continue next to Azizatun. Saya buka dulu Azizatun tadi ngasih apa? PDF atau PPT? What is the title? Culture Pattern and Communication. Okay. Sebentar. Oke. Azizatun. Oke, Azizatun. Silakan. Culture, Passion, and Communication.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Aziza. I will explain to you about cultural patterns and communication. The concept of culture was first found useful by social anthropologists in studies of tribal societies. More recently, it has also been used to analyze difference between industrialist societies. A culture can be said to exist when a number of persons interpret the event around them in relatively similar ways. This shared interpretation typically include the meaning of both the behavior of other person and the physically entities that are present in particular setting. Those attributes of a cultural might include agreement that a certain building is to be thought of as a school and perception that certain students are more memorable, attractive, or industrious than others. Culture is concept that can be applied to marriage, teams, tribes, organization, and nation. There is obviously less consensus between the members of a nation than there is between members of smaller grouping, but cross-cultural psychologists have found value in studying nation as cultural category within the mostly Western nation categories as relatively individualistic. Most persons define their identity in terms of personal attributes and see their lineage with others as based on individual choice. Thus, although relationships, marriage, and jobs can be long-lasting, they can also be terminated if they don't meet one's goals in life. Within nation categories as more collectivistic, most persons define their identity in terms of long-term commitment to group such as family, tribe, or organization. An individual leaving such group would find it difficult to locate new source of identity because simply as individualistic or collectivistic, but can be arranged along a spectrum from from one extreme to other. Individuals also vary in their orientation toward individualism and collectivism, so that one may find some individualists within a predominantly collective culture and some collectives within a predominantly individualistic culture. This has been particularly true recently due to extensive migration from collectivistic to individualistic nation. The type of communication that are most prevalent in different cultures reflect the priorities of those living within them individualistic setting. It is important to establish one's credential as someone who is attractive, coherent, competent, and trustworthy. In collectivistic setting, a stranger priority is to preserve harmony within one's group and to maintain the integrity of its boundaries. Even the language spoken within different cultures reflect these priorities to spoken within collectivist nation mostly permit the omission of the personal pronoun I from a sentence, while thus such English spoken in individualistic nation don't Kasima and Kasima 1998. For members of a collectivist culture, preferred communication style will depend upon whom one is communicating with more than for those in individualistic culture. Among one's in group concern with fast and harmony will predominate in dealing with those outside one's group. Communications may be as direct and as confronting as is favored by members of individualist culture in order that the integrity and honor of one's group may be upheld. Research studies Smith et al. 2006 now show that individual orientation toward individualism or collectivism predict directness of communication, nonverbal aspect of communication, expression of emotion, politeness, strategies, concern with one's own face rather than with other face, embraceability, receptiveness to individual group focus feedback, styles of negotiation, and response to different types of advertisement. Communications advertisement. Communication style even affect how individuals respond to research survey, member of collective nation show a stranger tendency to agree with positively worded question, so that cross-natural comparison can be invalid if no correction is made for this Smith 2004.
Okay, thank you. Kurang sekali contohnya, tidak apa-apa. Paling tidak ada berusaha ya. Semua saling mendengarkan. Oke, saya back dulu. Saya ke judul. Kita foto kodak bersama. Kok nggak mau? Siap, 1, 2, 3. Kok nggak kelihatan nih, Nak? Aku dulu, Nak. Nggak cantik. Nah, ini dia. Ulangin ya. 1, 2, 3. Oke. Stop sharing. Terus